Excuse me. Happy Monday, everybody. Um, Today's stream is a tribute to George Perez, an icon and legend in the industry, and one of the nicest guys, and one of the most outgoing uh, comic artists I've ever known. He was a huge presence at every convention that he was ever at. I remember going to the New York convention, the New York Comic Con, which is a show that almost 200,000 people would be at. I mean, it was a huge, huge show. And he'd be on the microphone over the whole hall announcing his signings and just, keeping people jazzed about the show. And he's a big loss. In a lot of ways, it's like losing, someone like Stan Lee. We don't have that many people in the business that we can really point to and say that, these are people that not only have a great relationship with their fans, but also get new uh, people excited to get into comics. Uh, and just artistically, he has had such a huge impact. For me, he co-created Teen Titans among so many other things, but the biggest thing that he did for me really is his crazy, massive group shots. I don't think anybody had ever really done anything quite like that before, and uh, nobody really. I mean, sometimes you'll see it here and there still, but it's rare. It's so much work to do what he did, and he did so many of them. I actually, for book of the week, I really wanted to show some pictures this time. So I have, I'm spoiling it, but I have a bunch of pictures of some group shots that he's done, some of my favorites, some real classics. And then I have some pictures of him at conventions with hundreds of fans in costume, all dressed up and excited to take a picture with him because he's really the inspiration for what they're doing. So, yeah, this is a tribute to one of the all-time greats, and it's a big loss for comics. All right, go ahead, Meredith.
We're like 5 minutes in, and this is the first thing I got to say.
2 minutes. You're 2 minutes.
He's like, I'm like, he didn't even give me a chance to say hi. He just set off rolling.
I would say Meredith's here, but
Hi, everybody. It's Meredith and Dave. You give me a chance to say hi, but no. I can't complain because you were rolling about George. So,
all right. Oh, layout.
Never mind.
Here it is. I foolishly drew it on the paper behind my paper, so I can't move it. But it's actually, this is going to be after George Perez, this one. I have a huge, speaking of massive group shots, I'm going to show you guys, this is something I want to show you guys when we do Book of the Week. I've got the massive group shot that I'm doing. Right now, it's almost finished. And it is from a George Perez layout with several George Perez figures on it. And Wonder Woman on that big shot is from George Perez. And that's really what I'm going to be doing my version of now. And so here I am. I'm going to be looking over there because I can see the picture over there and I can't see my layout. All right, go ahead.
Greg Al Static Art says, I thought Meredith wasn't here for a second. Dee's doing his best, people.
What, to make you not here?
Yep.
Wow.
Magic Lasso says George Perez was the example of the best creator-fan interaction one could hope for.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of us that, really try to be positive, and I need to take my shirt off. It's a little warm. And, outgoing as much as we can, but George was just a natural at it. I know for me, I like people, but it can be tiring at the end of the day, and it's a struggle because I'm not naturally outgoing. So I don't want to say putting on an act. I mean, I'm myself, but I try to be, I don't want to sit there sullen at the table when people come up. But for George, it's just who he was. He didn't have sullen in him.
Whereas David.
That's my default.
David, I'm always sullen Finch.
Yeah.
It's your middle name. Mora says, Mary Death is my first stream that I'm catching live. Well, welcome, Mora.
Yes, absolutely.
Welcome to the stream. I'm yawning already. Welcome to the flock. Welcome to our flock. Yugoslav Art. I may have said that wrong. Yevskolov Art says, hey, Meredith and Dave. Hey, flock.
So Henry Jeremick actually had a question just before we started, and he asked if when I did Batman: The Dark Knight, if I worked Marvel method or full script. And I did both actually. I worked Marvel method, or I worked full script when I first started, and then as I fell behind, it turned into more and more of a Marvel method. And then as I fell behind more, it turned into more of a just making it up as I went along. And then I finally just got a co-writer, well, not even a co-writer. I just got a writer. Realized it was not for me. I'm not a writer.
And that was really the last time I ever heard him complain about writers.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I might complain, a little bit, but not in the same way. I used to complain all the time because it is true. A writer can just write, and the amount of times I've had to draw Times Square, let me tell you, writers can write Times Square, and every villain fights every hero, and that's a one panel description. And for an artist, that's honestly that'd be a lot of fun, but it's 2 weeks of work if you're lucky.
I lost the chat. I like to pop it out. I forgot that I have to talk into the microphone tonight. All right. Lead Rest says the sketch is in, but I can't see you, Dave. You're out of focus.
Not here. Like I'm looking at the screen here.
Let me look at my computer.
I can see it on mine. Unless maybe what I'm seeing is different than what's broadcasting, and that I just can't tell.
Now I've lost chat again. All right. Hold on here. Nancy Boyer says, I got to see Simon Busy this weekend. He did some great commissions.
Oh, nice. I think that would have been in Detroit. Is that right?
I'm going to guess. I don't know. That sounds right. Eli Phelps says, it's my first stream live too. Welcome, Eli. Eli and Maura.
Absolutely. Those are running again. I swear I don't need Kleenex or anything like that all day. I get on the stream and there you go.
Yeah, Lance says it was Motor City.
Okay. And M Metal Man says Dave looks fine here. So, and James Largest says good picture. So yeah, great. All right. So yeah, hopefully whatever was happening with your, it might have been a lag. Hopefully that's sorted out.
Dave.
Meredith.
Quaker's Kingdom wants to know who is your favorite superhero.
Quaker's Kingdom wants to know who my Batman.
I'm never sure who you're going to answer. Depends on the day. Some days it might be Batman. Some days it might be Moon Knight. Some days it might be somebody else. Vincent Yusan wants to know, or I hope I said that right. When you want to send your portfolio, should you make one portfolio and show it to a couple publishers, or make a couple of portfolios?
No, one portfolio. Put all your energy into it. Spend ages on it. Pages shouldn't just be throwaway. If you can just do so many that look, depending on how much time you have, I guess too. But for me, every time I did samples, especially because I wasn't as comfortable or familiar with drawing pages, it was a major undertaking. And any editor at Marvel, I can tell you right now, there might be a little rivalry right there, with Marvel and DC, and sure, that could be a thing, but they're all huge fans of each other's characters, both at Marvel and DC. I've never met a Marvel editor that would say, DC characters are garbage. Like, they're all big fans of comics. And so they all are very familiar with characters you're drawing. If you're drawing, and honestly, if you're drawing something from Image, they're big fans of that stuff too. I mean, people that work in comics and immerse their life in it, they do that for a reason. So I'm going to say, unless you do something fairly obscure, like if you did Invincible, you're not going to find an editor from any company that's not going to know exactly what those characters are supposed to look like, how they're supposed to act, and because that's what's important. You need characters to behave like themselves and move like themselves, and they need to see that you can do that. You can basically, essentially, draw a character, on in character.
Tim Trepanier is here. He says, I was looking for your work to do sketch studies and found the show 2 weeks ago and have been watching from the beginning ever since. This is my first actual live stream. Live stream. Thank you so much for doing these.
Well, thank you very much. I want to also apologize. I have been waiting to get the next tutorial out for a while, and I've been saying, "Oh, it's going to be done." Well, it's been done for just a bit. So hopefully we'll have it within the week. We just had a few delays, so yeah, the actual video has been finished anyway on my end. So yeah, as soon as I can get it up, I'm gonna get it up.
All right. Lance Boyer wants to know if you could get one commission done by someone living right now, who would it be?
Oh wow.
Arthur Adams. Simon Bisley.
Gosh. Okay. Let me think for a second. Meredith is whispering Arthur Adams and Simon Bisley.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not. But I mean, come on. This is a big decision here. Like, I want to just throw it out there. Oh, that's tough.
He's going to have to think about it.
Yeah. Wow.
Travis.
Yeah, Travis Sherray. Todd McFarlane.
That's what Russ Hicks says, Travis. Henry Jeremick says my answer is Alan Davis.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
There you go. Akblutz. I probably said that wrong. I'm going to be saying things wrong tonight, apparently. My brain's not working. Wants to know if you've watched the Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
No, not yet.
Not watched it yet.
Not watched it.
Sure, it's on the list.
Yep.
I just found out about it this week.
Yeah, Meredith was actually just talking about that one. So yeah, that's one that we'll have to. And you were saying that it's pretty good, right? Like reviews were good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And here's the thing: I've watched Star Trek from the '60s and from the '80s and '90s, and because I'm kind of a child in the '90s. I mean, I was born in the '70s, but you know how that goes. 90s Star Trek for me is canon. That's like, can't touch it. And so I'm always really worried with any new Star Trek that they're going to mess with anything or change any kind of, canon at all. I just need to get over it and just enjoy the show. So yeah, you know what? We're kind of, so here's what we're watching right now. We finished Moon Knight and we're watching Dr. Pol. You guys ever hear that one? It's a country vet. I'm sure there's like 0 people on here that's ever seen it, but it's a country veterinarian that treats large animals and small animals. And so basically I spend every night, Meredith loves the show. I like it. And yeah, he pops boils on animals. I mean, that's seriously 90% of the practice.
Stop. It's just about because you just watch it on repeat. It's like who you want to have in your living room with you.
Yeah.
It's about personality for me.
Yeah.
Because I can make dinner and have stuff going on. Oh, Dan Lassard says Dr. Pol rocks.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Mason Lowther says, love Dr. Pol. Caden creates. Ooh, I watched that. There you
go. Actually. So I went to Dan Lassard's place yesterday. I was going to go last weekend. He was sick. So I went yesterday. So yeah, here's turn picture. There it goes. So here's Dan in his studio. And This is my airbrush being fixed right there. So it's in pieces right now, but well, it's in pieces there. It's fixed now. Dan got it all sorted out. It was pretty bad. It was, it was like throwaway bad, but he's got it. It's like new. So I'm back in the game with the airbrush. So it was very exciting. Thank you very much, Dan. And, yeah, it was great to get to spend a little time and hang out with another artist. I'd never get to do that.
Yeah, you don't really very often.
Nope.
Especially with COVID.
Yeah.
Post-COVID. You haven't even been to a convention since COVID, so. Kenny Wang says, watch Arcane, Dave. Watch it.
Arcane.
We tried watching it.
No, we watched an episode, and I didn't hate it or anything.
I
was so distracted by how much I liked the artwork, like the visuals, that I was not watching the show.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, do it. And the problem is that if it's not for Meredith, it makes it really.
I'm sorry. I'm sure it's awesome. I just couldn't do it. It felt too much like I was watching Isaac's show.
Yeah.
Like I just wasn't at night. Maybe if it was Saturday morning.
Yeah.
I know it's not a kid's cartoon. I just can't help it.
Not your thing.
No, it wasn't my thing. I'm sorry. Makes me a terrible person. Ugh. Vincent Houston wants to know, David, what would you give advice to yourself if you started your comic book career from zero right now?
So knowing everything that I know now, the number one advice I would have for myself is that the most deciding factor in whether you're going to make it and make a good career of it is not the struggle that you go through and how difficult things are and how much better other people are. It's how much you're willing to persevere and keep working and work through it. And hold on. I need to see what I'm doing here. And yeah, that I almost lost it a few times where I thought it's over. Like it's just not, I wasn't going to be able to make it. And I could see other people coming into, this is at Top Cow Productions where I started. And I could see other people coming in that were just right out of the gate so much better. And it was really hard. And I wanted to quit. I wanted to quit. It was the hardest part. I keep remembering how hard it was when I first started working, but it was even harder before that. When I was, drawing in my mother's basement, because that's where I was drawing, wondering, am I kidding myself? Is this a joke? Like, can I actually do this? And I felt like I could. I really did, but you don't know. And there's no affirmation that you can get that is going to equal that first job, that first real job where somebody really gives you a chance. Because your family, they'll love what you do. I mean, they're your family, and they should. So I remember, the pain that I went through and the self-doubt, and it was so incredibly difficult. And if there's a way that I could spare myself some of that, and now I feel like I don't know how useful advice that is for me to give, just because I don't think that you'll believe me. Like if you're working through your artwork and it's a struggle, until you get that break and you start, making it happen, you're going to have those doubts, and it doesn't matter what I say, and it's going to be that way. As far as study advice goes, I would have. I had the advantage of drawing for about 3 months, and then I went to a Detroit convention, and I met,
your brain working on?
No, I'm a little tired, and
Yeah.
I just can't remember names right now. Oh my gosh.
I'm like, what's going on? You're falling apart tonight.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I met an artist who I'll remember in 5 minutes and is a phenomenal artist. I follow on Instagram, and I'd really like to have him as a guest at some point. And
Honesty.
yeah. And anyway, he basically gave me the rundown of how to do it. Here's the steps you need to take. This is what you need to do, and that will get you there. And so I had that advice from a professional that knew what they were doing, Kyle Hotz. I'm sorry, Kyle. So yeah, he was more instrumental in me making it in this business than anyone else. And I've had a few people that I owe so much to. So, for me, that's a big statement, but it's true. And his advice to me was get the Bridgman book. And this is a Bridgman Guide to Life Drawing. Draw everything in there and then close the book and do it again. And by close the book, he didn't mean close the book and try and remember the whole book page for page out of your. He basically means look at a picture, close it, try and draw it from memory, and do that. I did it twice. I went through that whole process twice. It was so much work. It took me months, but I came out of it in such a different place. It meant that I had a really good basic understanding of how all the muscles work. Now, that didn't necessarily always translate to an anatomy that I wanted for comics, but what it did mean is that if I was looking at an artist that I really liked, I could look at what rules they were using from my Bridgman perspective and from my anatomy perspective, from studying anatomy books. And I could incorporate what they were doing or not based on whether I liked it, but I could do it in an informed way. And that made such a massive difference. So yeah, that was such a big one for me.
Cool. Lead Rest wants to know with a super chat, our first super chat of the night for $2. Do you believe natural talent or is art a learned medium?
Well, both, truthfully. I think it's unfair it's dishonest to say that anybody could do it. Truthfully. Like anything. I mean, not everybody's going to be a math wizard. I certainly couldn't be. So you'll know. I mean, do you draw? Do you love drawing? Do you feel like you do it well and your friends and family, respond to what you're doing? That's talent. And there are ranges of talent, and the difference between a really outstanding talent and somebody that is good but not as talented is huge. I mean, truthfully, but what it means is that if you're incredibly talented, you will just learn fast, and some of these people that came in when I was starting were just so deeply, incredibly talented. And I just couldn't touch the speed that they could learn at. And it was really frustrating for me. And I thought, wow, I might not make it. A lot of those people are no longer in the business. And I have learned that the only thing you get from extreme talent, one of the only things is how quickly you can learn. If you're willing to put in the work and keep striving to improve and be honest with yourself, then you can learn that kind of thing yourself. So, it doesn't take a huge amount of talent. And a lot of my favorite artists aren't naturally super gifted, talented artists. So
I'm sure they would be grateful to hear you say that.
Well, look, obviously I'm not going to name names. I will name a name of the artist that really, for me, strikes me as like just a ridiculous talent, just natural talent. And that is Jorge Jimenez. But I actually was looking for some of his stuff online a little while ago, and I saw some of his early work. And it was fine. It was not that great. It really wasn't. It wasn't very good. And I thought, holy gee, man, like he was fine, but he didn't, pop out that way. He still had to study it. So, some of those artists that you just look at and they just seem like such a cut above that it must have just always been able to do it. Not necessarily.
Cool. Artsy Design says, don't worry, Meredith Finch. My fiance doesn't like watching cartoon movies or shows either. I'm not alone.
You're not alone.
All right, next super chat, because Lead Rest broke the super chat bubble, is from Antoine Washington for $4.99. Antoine says, hey, Dave and Meredith. Is it bad to always need reference to draw comics? Your work looks so effortless. I'm always referencing your work when I draw.
I always have work around me. I'm always looking at things because For where I am now, I personally think that while I'm doing this and I'm not really looking at anything, I am actually looking at something because I'm doing this is my version of a George Perez drawing. But generally speaking, I don't. I will never grow if I do this. Like this to me, this is just me jamming, you know. But if I want to actually get better, I need to be looking at something. So I would never look at that as a bad thing. Um, you do ultimately need to be able to do it yourself, but uh, you get better and better at that over time. And the more you're willing to reference, because it takes more work to reference, believe it or not, you'd think, hey, it's easier just to, copy something. It is not, because you're having to look at something, interpret it, and then bring it out in your own style and work with it versus just, going with whatever, not worrying about it. So I don't think that's a problem. I think you should be doing it.
Right. Sheldon Martin has a super chat for $4.99. I can't watch tonight. I'm at a birthday party. Just saying, hey guys, and have a good night.
No Sheldon Martin.
No Sheldon Martin. You're done. You're walking away for the night.
If it weren't for George Perez.
Thank goodness for George.
Actually, not just Sheldon. And Sheldon, we will miss you. There was I got an email from someone this week. He's a military veteran and a pastor actually now. And he got really into George Perez's art in the 80s, and he had a long email talking about how much it meant to him, and he was kind of upset because he couldn't be here for this one. But yeah, it was a really nice email. So I mean, the effect that George has had on people is not many artists can claim that, and
not many.
Yeah, I can't. Stan Lee, he wasn't an artist; he was a writer. But to have that kind of a beloved, persona.
Yeah, George was definitely one in a million.
And Stan Lee had that because that's who he was, and so did George. Can't fake that.
Nope. Much as you might try.
I've tried. Not really. I can't do it.
No, you can't do it.
I don't have it in me. I would do it if I could. But.
Just a love for people in life.
Yeah.
Angel Rodriguez has a super chat for $10. Angel says, hello, Dave and Meredith. David, if Todd McFarlane could ink your work again, which character would you choose?
Spider-Man.
Really?
Yes.
Why? Is Todd McFarlane known for Spider-Man? No. Why? Honestly.
Is he known for Spider-Man?
Yeah, isn't
McFarlane?
he? I'm not wrong.
Are you asking do you know?
No, I know he is.
Okay, yes.
He made Spider-Man what he is today.
Yes.
Is what you've told me 1,000 times over.
Okay.
But I'm like, why Spider-Man? Because I don't feel, if you're going to have Todd ink you,
yeah,
I don't feel like Spider-Man is your most iconic character.
I don't care. I would want to.
I would want to see him ink you on Moon Knight.
I'm still saying Spider-Man. You can say whatever you want, but yeah, absolutely.
The stream's going to agree with me on this one. In this case, I overrule you.
Yeah.
JDSCT is a super chat for $5. Good evening, Finches. Just sending some love. Really appreciate these tribute streams. Thank you.
Thank you very much, JDSCT. And I'm sorry. I say it wrong every single time.
JDSCT.
I'm looking forward to. So I'm going to see JDSCT in Toronto coming up later this year. Not that far away, actually.
The poor stream. I have the microphone under my chin right now, and I'm swallowing. So it's like it's miking the swallow.
That's great.
Isn't that awesome?
And I'm looking forward to seeing JDSCT, so I can just, call him by his name. Because.
Do you know his name?
Yes.
Well, JDSCT, feel lucky because some days he doesn't know mine. Just kidding. Just kidding. You did call one of our kids by the wrong name tonight, though.
Yes. I couldn't remember the name of our cat a few days ago.
Are you going through dementia?
I've always been this way, though.
Well, all I gotta say is as long as you can draw, I'll spoon feed you. I'll just keep putting the paper in front. I'll just keep putting the paper in front of you, Dave.
Yeah. You know what?
I'll tie, and I really will chain you to the desk.
I will be perfectly
so
happy.
You can't go wandering.
That's just fine.
Eli Phelps has a super chat for $5. Eli says, hey, Dave, for someone trying to break into the industry, do you think a web comic is best to create, or try and get a traditional comic published?
A webcomic. I'm going to say webcomic only because, truthfully, a published comic, that's more impressive to people. It really is. But it costs a lot of money. And, uh, some of you guys I know are older and you're getting into this. This is like something you enjoyed doing when you were younger, and you've gotten back into it. You probably have a little bit more disposable income, but for somebody that's younger, you really don't. And I would not recommend taking on that kind of an expense. So I would absolutely say just do a webcomic. It's worth, whatever minimal sacrifice you get, and in credibility. You have your work to be able to show it's something published, and it doesn't cost you money. It's it is better to have a paper comic, but ultimately it's the work. If you have it published and people don't like the work, it does not matter. And if you did it on a web comic and people love it, doesn't matter.
Cool. That's good advice. Lance DeBoyer says, Dave and Meredith, I was sporting my Finch flock shirt this weekend at my booth, but sadly didn't run into any flockers.
Did you take a picture?
Yeah. Post it on the Finch flock page. You're going to have to wear your Finch flock shirt to your next convention.
I will, yeah.
Make it part of your convention gear. Like Greg Capullo always wears his Greg Capullo shirts.
He's got it's the sunglasses and beard gear.
Yeah. Tagmo Model Works has a super chat for $10. Hey, DNM, I'm late. I lost my oldest cat 2 weeks ago, and then a coworker brought me a semi-feral kitten that escaped the country pound roundup. So busy, and she's a handful. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. Because our kitten, I would say semi-feral sometimes. She's definitely skittish.
She's skittish.
She's skittish in a way that a cat that our barn cat is not, who's always been a house cat.
Yeah. So. And I don't know what's going on with our barn cat, because she is a barn cat. We got her as a barn cat, but she's totally really, we could just have her in the house. Oh, and we would, except she loves the barn.
She loves the barn. She caught me 3 mice last week. She leaves them in the middle of the aisle or in the wash stall where she knows I'll be. She leaves them for me.
Yep.
She's such a good cat. Love that cat. I'm so sorry to hear about the loss of your oldest cat, though, yes, Tag, because that's always tough. But good luck with the new Roundup kitty. You know what? Replacing a pet, that's a tough thing to do when it just comes to you this way, though. Yeah. It's nice. To be, yeah, you're not just replacing an animal that you love for years. You're JDSCT has another super chat for $2. JDSCT says, you can say, is laughing at you. He says, LOL, it's Joseph. If that's easier, you can just say Joseph. Okay, fine. Thank you. Instead of saying JDSCT. I feel like it's never my place to give somebody's name out. That's right. Fair enough. Respect. It's very respectful. Dan Genovese says, I'm going to wear my Finch flock shirt to New York Comic Con. Yeah. All right. Well, I will see you there. I'm going to be there, right? Well, we originally said no, but you're probably going to go. You never miss it. Did I say no to New York? You did, but you never miss it. So I'm going to San Diego, right? You are. By the way, I'm going to San Diego. It'll be my first time in probably 6 years. It's been a while. Edward Lee says, I hate throwing away dead mice, but I love my cat. I just throw the dead mice in the manure bucket. That is so awesome. That's the good thing about having a farm. They just get covered with the poop. That sounds great. And then they just become back. They go back to the dirt from which they came. Hey, you guys want to come over? Ashes to ashes. No. Spread on the field. They're fertilizing my hayfield. Yeah. Steve King has a super chat for $10. Hi, Dave and Meredith. I'm loving the perspective tutorials. Any tips for working backward to figure out where perspective went wrong in a drawing? Yeah, actually, that is such a good question. Hold on. Man, that's a great question. Okay. So,
I'm going to draw, here's a panel shape. By the way, I'm not zooming in. Let me erase this just to give you some room. I'm not going to zoom in. I found it's actually zooming in when I do that. I haven't got a new camera yet, by the way. It's coming. But so
it's Christmas, Dave.
So it's Christmas.
So it's Christmas.
So I'm going to draw. It's difficult to. It's so easy to mess up perspective. It's so difficult to kind of do it on purpose. So I'm going to draw a building here. And I'm going to draw another building here. And another one here. And you can see that I've got a bit of a mess. Well, in order to find the perspective, and this is worse than you would ever normally really run into. I mean, this is pretty bad. But because this is so, normally this would never be a problem. You would have most of your perspective conforming to one thing, and then you'd have a couple of things that are off. So we're just going to assume we have a lot of buildings that are in the same perspective as this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line out from here, a line out from here, and where they kind of meet parallel, I'm going to draw, and I'm using a ruler for this. Just imagine, I'm going to draw my little hash points, and then this is going to go up this way and up through. Now this is pretty far, but there it is. And so I can see that this is off here. Let's actually get a ruler. I don't know if that's going to work. Meredith, my ruler is under your butt. Nope. It's beside you. It's tucked in there. Can you just reach in and grab it? Feel it? It's like a game of Operation, digging my tools out of my couch. Okay. So here's my ruler. Here's my point. It really
kind of is.
And so now that's going to be here, so my angle is going to be about here, just to make that correct. And that's going to be about there. And this building, I think this side of it is fine. And it is. But this one is way off out here. So I'm going to find that point, come up to this, and now I can just correct it. And I can actually just go ahead and just short my perspective on this whole building and make sure that that's right. This building here, I could say, hey, I want this building to be turned at a different angle, but we're not going to do that because that's not what we're talking about here. Right. So yeah, here, I'm going to fix that. I'm going to fix this side. And now I can pretty much go in and let's clean this up a little bit so it's not such a mess. It's really difficult to even tell what I've got going on, but here we go. Still making it worse. There we go. And there, I've conformed my other buildings to my existing perspective. And so, yeah, you need to look at the part of your picture that looks like it's most in perspective. Find your points from what's there, which actually you should be able to do fairly easily. If it's done with perspective, it should be easy. This was not done with perspective. I faked it, and I still could find the points. So you should be able to do it even if that's the case.
Because, I mean, if Dave can do it, anybody can do it.
That's right. Thank you, Meredith.
You're welcome. Magic Lasso says, I am not liking what I'm seeing. I'm loving it.
Oh, thank you very much. Like, wait, what?
Oh, Art9 says, Meredith Finch, my cat was sick but recovering. Every cat is unique and not interchangeable. 100% agreed.
Yeah.
100% agreed.
Absolutely.
They're just like people. They bring their own personalities with them. But they're also like children in that they bring their love with them too. You don't have to worry about finding love for another animal because they bring it with them.
They do. So it's going to be a bit of a racing through here. I decided to not worry about it and just draw through because I knew I could erase. Or, well, use whiteout, not erasing.
So Ross Klein has a question. Hey, DNM, I usually try to draw along with you when you're working, and I find that my female characters always see bigger bow than yours. Any tips?
Yes. And this is actually another very good question. By the way, speaking of Ross Klein, and hi, Ross, I was thanking the moderators last time, and Ross Klein had just commented in the chat. And when I thanked Russ, I called him Ross Klein. Did you catch that? I couldn't believe it. And yeah, after the chat, I thought, oh. So I asked Eric, I said, Eric, apologize for me. I'm sorry. But yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it just means you're like one of his kids. He can't call his kids by the right name either.
Yeah, that's true. All right.
I read somewhere that the reason that you interchange names on people, like your family and your pets, like have you ever called your kid by your pet's name? Because I've done that, is because your brain compartmentalizes things. So basically it's like your brain has a filing cabinet drawer and it puts all
family goes into this drawer.
Yes. All the things in this drawer include like maybe family and pets. And so sometimes when you go to pull a name out of that drawer, the wrong name gets pulled out because they're all in the same drawer together. It's kind of a cool analogy.
It is. That makes a lot of sense. It's just word association.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Dave, another question from Vincent. When do you know you're ready to become a pro artist and start working on your portfolio?
When you can do it. That doesn't mean you're going to be ready to be a pro artist. That is, no one can answer for you that. And that is a source of so much heartbreak for me trying to break in. I mean, the amount of pain that I went through because you don't know, and you just can't know. So, but if you can do samples, you need to spend most of your time doing studies, arm studies, leg studies, figure studies, gesture drawing, study. And it's all the fundamentals. You really want to stick with the foundational elements of drawing and do that as much as you can. That needs to be most of your time. But you should be doing samples too, because if you can't draw panels, no one's going to give you a job as a cover artist unless you are an outrageously good painter. Like, and now again with names, but whatever. But there's an Italian painter I have in my head right now that I'm a big fan of right now. He would not have done, and there are quite a few cover artists that wouldn't have done interiors really ever, but they are the rare exception. So, like for me, there's no way I'd be getting cover jobs had I not had a long career doing interior jobs. Okay, so yeah, I would say do it, and don't worry about it if you're not ready. I mean, you want to make it as good as you can. The market will tell you if you're ready. You'll get work if you are. You won't if you aren't. But you'll learn a lot. And you'll get comments on that stuff. It's very difficult to get comments from professionals on just sketches. So you do pages, you go through, and you want to talk to editors because they can give you work, but you want to talk to other artists because they can tell you what you're doing wrong. It won't always be the best advice. And then sometimes it'll be, advice that really changes the direction of your career. Okay.
If you're willing to take it.
If you're willing to take it. And then that's always, look, I can't help with that. I definitely run into times when people won't take it. It's frustrating, but I let that go because I can't help at that point. And that's not to say that an artist that can't take advice can't get there, because some people are so, self-motivated and willed, they just have a difficult time, accepting it from someone else, but they'll figure it out themselves. And that could be you, or, you could be ending your potential before it starts. Okay. So
wait, hold on. I have to read this. What are you doing? A demo?
Yes.
Oh, can I read this first?
Yeah.
Mothrius says, "Hi everyone, I'm not so good in English, so forgive me if I say something wrong, but I have to say thanks to David for all the help he gave me in my studies of drawings."
Well, thank you.
And now, give us more help, Dave. Give us more help.
I'm going to tell you right now that I am very much going to be working on not only doing more, but doing more often. I'm so sick of doing a video. What happens is I put out a video, and so I think, okay, I'm good for a couple weeks. A couple weeks passes, I'm still busy. So another week passes. Now it's been 3 weeks. Then I finally do the video, and then another 3 weeks passes before I finally am able to get it up on the site. And I don't want to keep doing that. So I'm going to start, going back to a much more regular schedule and just getting them up here, All right. So
stop putting so much pressure on yourself.
yeah, look, okay, whatever. That's all. Let's talk about this right now. This is clearly a male sketch. Now, obviously, you can imagine male and female figures. You put a huge Arnold Schwarzenegger male here, and like a totally beautiful, stereotypical sexy
Meredith
woman
Finch.
here, right? Meredith Finch, and then there's like a whole area that connects them because we're all different, completely different, and that's assuming people that are very thin and very fit. Obviously, we have ranges all around that too, but this is basically a male figure, and if your female figures are looking chunky, it's because this male chest.
He didn't say chunky. He said bigger bone.
Bigger bone. Okay. Yeah, bigger boned. Here's your male chest. And this is the way that I draw it. And that's a good template. Here's where my chest connects. And that's a good template for me as a start. But if I'm drawing a female figure that actually really doesn't work, I need to draw something that is much more narrow and longer. Basically, it's just longer. And well, it's more narrow. It's not longer. It's more narrow. So that is much more appropriate for a female figure. Now, my chest is going to basically start the same place. I've got this kind of a shape here. And I want to make sure, so here's my other breast here. My shoulders are going to go here. And so you can see I still was a little bit short. And then my breastbone, chest bone, whatever, is down here. And so that works. And so for the body, that is the reason why that happens. You can see how much more narrow I went here than I went here. And for arms, I've got my male arm here. You get so used to doing this. This is actually a little thin. My actual male arm is going to be just a little bit bigger like this. You get so used to doing that it's very difficult to start to get used to doing something that is much thinner. And again, this is not every woman, clearly. And a muscular arm is clearly not every guy, but I feel the need to say that every single time. I think you guys understand that. So there's much more a female proportioned arm, and you can see how much thinner it is. I mean, my arm was way out here and out here, and it can take a bit to get used to that. But the main thing that will make your female figures look more big boned is drawing big base shapes like this chest shape. Another thing is that on a male figure, you can see here's my stomach right here, my midsection. On a female figure, you really want to be more narrow with that. So you want to really bring that in. So here we go. And then the hips obviously come out wider. And so here's my semi-female figure, and you can see it looks odd, right? Like it looks strange, and I can give her a chest.
Ross says, thanks to the advice, I've been focusing on the hips and neglecting the rib cage.
Okay, yeah. So here's my chest, and you can see how the chest is sitting on there strangely. Like it just, does not look right. And the reason for that is because I'm just drawing a shape that's not appropriate for a female body. It's the same shape, it just has a different dimension. And then, yeah, working on the hips from a much thinner waist. You don't need to go very wide with those hips. Like it doesn't need to be crazy wide, which gives you a bigger boned look. The contrast of a really thin waist can give you a lot of width in the hips beyond making them wider. Obviously they are wider, but so there you go. All right.
So I need one more demo from you for One Mighty R. How do you open the spinny sharpener to dump the stuff out? I've been using it for a while, but I've never dumped it.
Here's the spinny sharpener. This is called a lead pointer or a spinny sharpener, which I like kind of better. To open it, you just pop it out.
Hold it upright.
And so take a look at this. I don't know if you can see, there's water on my finger from this. Just before I started, we went live. I picked this up, it slipped out of my hands and dumped it right into I've got a water cup. I put it over there. Anyway, plopped right in there full of lead. And so I dumped the lead out. It came out like sand, like mud.
Yeah.
And it's still a little wet.
Don't ever pack it in anything without emptying it first.
Right. Oh, yeah. Piece of advice.
If you travel with it, empty it before you
Yeah.
travel with it.
Yeah, these things will destroy
Lesson
any
learned.
luggage you put it in if you don't empty them. So
Or
whenever I
plastic
travel,
bag.
I not only do I empty these out completely, but I also put it in a bag, like a Ziploc bag. Nobody needs that kind of pain.
Meredith's been yelled at for that too. You packed my stuff, but you didn't empty the lead pointer. Sometimes.
So also, by the way, I should show you guys some of the reference I'm using. This is my George Perez statue of Wonder Woman.
Who's George Perez statue?
It's mine now. It's in my office.
Who's
I bought this from Meredith, but
whose is that?
you know what? When you get an office again, or you have a place
have
for
an
it,
office again.
there you go. Anyway, yeah, it's so I'm looking at this for a lot of my reference. Very cool stuff. This is 615 of 5,200.
Is it signed?
Nope.
Well, dang.
But there it is.
So, what's new in your life, Dave?
It always feels like the wheels are coming off when that happens.
Hey, I'm just killing. I got 8 minutes before book of the week.
Once you start asking me what's
It's a slow night on the stream tonight.
It's a beautiful Sunday.
Everybody's
Monday.
Yeah, everybody's
Weather's
outside.
nice. That's right.
Or recovering from the sunburns they got from being outside all weekend.
Or mourning the fate of Toronto.
No, we don't talk about Bruno.
We don't talk about.
No
more talking about the Maple Leafs.
No, we don't talk about the Maple Leafs. That being said, you didn't answer my question.
Okay, what was the question?
What did you do today? How was your day? What's up? What's shaking, bacon?
I stayed up late last night working.
Yeah, again.
Again.
You haven't come to bed?
I was 2 nights ago. Just not last night, the night before. Whatever.
I
know.
Not last night or the night before.
Yeah, look, you know what? It's been tough going. And I fell asleep for a good portion this afternoon because I always, anytime I make up, I end up losing. And I was telling Meredith 2 days ago, it feels worth it. Even if I'm going to have to sleep, when I get on a roll, it's worth it for me to just keep going. But I spent all afternoon, sleeping just enough that I was having nightmares all afternoon. Fun. And my nightmares are, it's not like Freddy or something. It's just work stress, constant.
All right.
So then I woke up grumpy.
Yeah. Well, here, this is guaranteed to make you even more grumpy.
Oh, good.
Owen Summerlin says, Daddy Dave is looking exceptionally handsome tonight, yet again. He hates compliments. So that's guaranteed. And Ken and Leslie Ken is on.
Oh, hey.
Ken, who is our brother-in-law.
My brother-in-law.
Our brother-in-law, wants to know, how are the puppies?
The puppies are good. Happy birthday, Leslie. My sister. It was her birthday just over a week ago.
When's your birthday?
It's the 5th.
Oh.
And I was going to call.
It's right before Hayden's birthday, so I never think about it because I'm all about Hayden's birthday.
Yeah, well, I should be thinking about it because
she's your sister.
I know.
I can only do so much.
And I'm like, oh, I'm going to call. And then I missed it. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to call tomorrow. Yeah, I'm sorry, Leslie. I'll have nightmares about that tomorrow too.
You can dream that. That can be tonight's stress dream.
Yeah, but no, the dogs are doing great. They're
loving the weather.
Well, they're not getting as much.
Sleeping on the porch right now.
They're not getting as much exercise as they did because they started running away all the time. Like every time we let them out, they just run for the hills, and we didn't have a fence. We have now. Not a fence, but it's close. We've got the posts in a huge, like a horse pasture. And so once we get that actually finished, I think it'll be a few days next week, whatever. Soon we'll be able to let the dogs out there. They're getting out. It's just been harder. We put them in the barn and let them run around in Meredith's arena, like horse arena. But yeah, they'll be outside more, get a little more exercise. Leslie and Ken, actually, they've got the smallest dog on the face of the earth.
It's smaller than my chickens.
Yeah, it's like a little alien.
I think
cute.
Combined, their 2 dogs weigh less than 4 pounds.
Yeah.
Tagmo Model Works has a super chat for $5. Meredith has an office. It's a barn with a cat and horses. It's true. Go. Not a lot of writing gets done out there.
No.
The Wonder Woman statue would not be appropriate. But
no, would not last long.
But I do that. It is my new office. It's my outdoor office, which I love. Jamal Rashid has a super chat for $4.99. Here to support. God is good. Amen. Thanks for coming out, Jamal.
As always, thank you.
Dean HNZ is here. HNZ. I yell at Isaac for saying Z. Have you ever seen an artist submit a portfolio, then get rejected, and then later improved and get hired as a pro? That's a super chat for $5.
Thank you very much for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. That's everyone. I somewhere around here, I've got a whole bunch of rejection letters. My mother saved them. But it doesn't even seem interesting to show them because we all do. Everyone does. There's not a working professional out there that hasn't been rejected over and over again. And you need to understand that you're going to get rejected not just because of your work being not good enough, because that will happen too. Okay, I shouldn't say, not for me to say that, because it might not. Like, you might be ready and have never shown your work to anyone, and the first time you do. But editors are also looking for a particular type of a thing, and you never know what they're looking for at any given time. Let's say they've got a new book, this new concept, and in order to make it work, they need a particular style, and so they're kind of on the lookout for that. And you're doing something that's a different style, well, they're just going to say no, and you're going to think, oh, I'm not good enough. So you need to be able to weather rejection. It's going to happen. And I have never met anyone that's never been rejected.
I've never been. No, it's not true. What you say is true.
Yeah, you have been too. You've
pitched
stuff and had it not work out.
Oh, lots of times. Lots and lots of times. Your sister, by the way, says, if you called, I would think something really horrible had happened.
Oh, yeah, it's a real testament to,
There.
Yeah.
She says, if you called, I'd assume something horrible was happening.
It's a sad state of affairs.
She knows you so well.
Oh, am I ever all over the place with this picture? So I wanted to be up here, but then I need to be here, and now I need to. I don't usually end up using so much whiteout.
Michael Johnson Curry has a super chat for $4.99. What's an expected rate of pages when penciling and penciling with inking? Some say 1 day, some say 2. What's the current working standard? Consistency. That's the current working standard. They can budget around. If you take 2 days for a page, you just have to be reliable.
Yeah. So somebody was talking about Dan Mora, who's an artist at DC. Absolutely incredible. I actually did a book of the week on a Dan Mora book not that long ago. And I can't remember who told me this, but apparently he's doing like more than a monthly book, which is ridiculous. And I don't know. I mean, just from experience, I have to say, I don't think that's possible, but it's not for me to say that. So, I mean, there are artists out there that are just going to be so fast. I mean, fact is that there are 3 qualities that they look for in an artist. They look for speed, quality, and personability. Basically, the sense that you're not going to drive them all crazy. And if you can meet any of 2 of those, I've said this before, but if you can meet any 2 of those, then you can get work. Now, if your speed is so slow, that it just never happens, obviously, you can't have any one of those qualities be completely off the map. But so yeah, for a specific, I would say for a monthly comic, you need to be able to do a page a day. So if you want somebody to announce we have a new monthly artist on Batman, for instance, or whatever title it is, well, you need to be able to do a page a day to do that. That's just the reality. If you want to do something more like a page every 2 days, then that's going to limit what you can do. You can do the same sorts of books, but maybe you'll do 5 issues and then you'll have to take a break for 5 issues and come back on. If they really like what you do, they'll have to like it more. I'll tell you right now, they will have to like it more, but that will work. Once you start getting slower than that, you need to be someone that they could put on like a special project that they could, really get behind. It costs them money to be paying you while you're not working fast. So they're paying expenses. And once the book is published, they can recoup that. But not many people can afford to take that out of pocket. So the slower you get, the harder it gets. And that's the truth. You can be slower as long as you're honest about how fast you are. When pages will come in, at least close to honest, they can make it work, but it is going to make it tougher for you. The faster you are, the easier it will be. The better you are, the easier it will be.
Oh, David, do you know what time it is? It's time.
Okay.
It's time for the book of the week.
All right.
The book of the week. The book of the week. Really cool books. It's what we seek. Oh, the book of the week.
Hey,
The
that was better than it has been.
I'm doing what I can.
Okay. I'm going to go to share screen.
That's because I made it more heavy metal.
Wow.
That's why
Okay.
I liked it.
Yeah. So I've saved a bunch of pictures because I felt like, okay, I can go through some of my comics and it's all incredible stuff. But this is the stuff for me when I think George Perez, and I think when most people think George Perez, it's not for me to say. When I think George Perez, though, it's these kinds of shots and these kinds of shots. I'm actually working on the picture that I'm just about finished with is very similar to this, actually, and also laid out by him. And so here, I really should be closing. I wanted to show this one last, but this is George Perez with, it looks like seriously every character in the entire DC universe. I don't see any Marvel characters for this one. So I've got, there are 2 Nightwings anyway, and here he is right in the middle. And he's got a few pictures like this, and all of these fans getting together. And by the way, this is Crisis on Infinite Earths with Supergirl in Superman's arms here. Really nicely done, actually. Nicely posed. Here's another one. I think the first one, it looks like they were not really posing as much. They're a little bit quieter. They're posing, but this is a little better. George is pointing in the middle. And here's another one. I thought this was a great picture. Really nicely, arranged. And another one of my favorite shots. This one is just so similar to the picture that I'm working on right now, and which is why it's such a thrill to be doing this. I don't know how long these would take him, but I do know he was a monthly artist and he had a huge output, so he couldn't have been taking a massive amount of time to do this. He was very, very good, very consistent, and very, very fast. Here's another shot. So this one we have 2 Crisis on Infinite Earths with Superman and well, one's Wonder Woman, and then we have a Supergirl here. Anyway, yeah. Always cracks me up. This is another one of my favorite shots. I did Avengers back, it's been a few years now. I did Avengers Disassembled and then New Avengers, and all the reference that I used for it was George Perez, 100%. I really looked at nothing else. So my Blue Beetle, listen to me. My I forget this guy. This guy right here. You won't remember. This is before I even knew you. Anyway, yeah, I drew him exactly like this. If I had a brain, I would remember his name. I drew like this version of all the costumes. And for me, this is really, the Avengers, despite the fact that, look, you guys know me. I can't remember names, but yeah, that's my Hawkeye.
Not the Vision, right?
No. The Vision is right behind him. So yeah, and it's got Jarvis right here. Jarvis, to me, he's a person. He's not a computer. As much as I liked Iron Man, that's one of my favorite shots from George Perez. And it's got Marvel Girl. Who's the superpowered woman in Marvel? They had a movie about her. Right, yeah, that's the one that I drew. So, yeah, another great shot. This one actually, this is a little bit older. This is 98. And so I really remember when this came out. And, at the time, he was already really considered to be a classic artist. But this is how it goes. You have an era as an artist, and then things kind of move on, and then you become associated with a bit of an older era. And he was by now when he did this picture in 98. And, I'm sure I am now. When I do my stuff, I'm a little bit of a product of the 90s, truthfully. So here's more of a DC, well, completely a DC picture. And now here, let me stop sharing, and I want to show you guys where I am with the picture that I'm working on. Now I'll warn you, it's in pieces right now. So here it is so far. And here's actually the Wonder Woman that I'm using for reference for my Wonder Woman. I've got a few more figures along the top to finish here. I'm coming in out of focus again. It's like time goes on and it gets worse. But so this is a George Perez Wonder Woman here. There is, let's see her here, a George Perez Scarlet Witch here. And can you see him? You can't even see him. The picture is so big. So let's take my word for it. But down here is a beast. So yeah, here's the center part. And then here is the right side. I need to tape them back together. I found it actually started to be easier for me to do this with them not attached. And I'll just retape them. It's something that it's not such an uncommon thing to do. So yeah, here's my right side. So that's completely finished. And the left side is totally finished. If I make it sideways. And so yeah, I've got a few more pictures along the top and a little Nightwing right there, and then we're done. So coming along. But yeah, this whole picture is all laid out by George Perez. You can see just a little bit here what his figure layouts look like. It's a little tough because it's non-repro blue, and I find that is a little difficult on the camera too. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of work. So yeah, it's very cool to be working on something, started by George Perez, contributed to by Alex Ross and Todd McFarlane and Jim Lee and Travis Terrest. So, yeah. There you go.
All right. Thank you, David. All right. As you said,
amazed at how much I still have to do on that thing.
No, I'm trying not to look at how much you still have to do on that thing. That maybe a little bit. Honestly, maybe a little bit. Yeah. Steve King has a super chat for $10. Speaking of book of the week, Dave, have you ever considered doing a video just on a book you love instead of a tutorial? I dig hearing you gush about other artists. It's infectious.
Well, thank you very much. Okay, look, I don't think I would be comfortable doing videos where I'm just talking and not drawing, because I feel like that's not why people watch generally. People watch to learn something from a tutorial. Now, I don't know. I mean, until you try something, it's hard to say. But that is why I haven't done it. We did some interviews for a bit, and I just found what I don't like. I like it when Meredith does interviews too. She's very good doing it. But I do it much more. Look at that go out of focus. With like a drawing format, either we're painting. Oh, by the way, this Thursday, we have a special stream with Color with Kurt coming up Thursday at 9 o'clock.
Okay, I'll be in bed by then.
Yeah, you'll be in bed. So that's exciting. He's going to be coloring the Moon Knight picture, and so yeah, it's great that he was willing to do it.
All right. Next so mark that on your calendars, people. Next super chat comes from Nick Soto for $20. Nick says, "Hey, David Meredith. I enjoy watching all your illustration streams. I've been drawing since I was 4 and I'm 40 now. Be honest with me. Is it too late for me?"
No, it is not too late. It's a tough go. I mean, that's a fact. It's not easy. And when you're older, it's tougher because you have other responsibilities. I always say, I think that the big difference between somebody that's younger and somebody that's older isn't an ability to learn and improve. It's being able to balance the responsibilities of life, with trying to break into comics. It's you don't see a lot of people trying to break into bands later in life too, because you get married, you have kids, you have responsibilities. It's tough to live that lifestyle. And when you're trying to break into comics or break into any kind of art field, it's a little bit like that. You need to be able to withstand making no money for a certain amount of time. If that's something that you can manage, then yeah, absolutely. Now, it is possible to balance. So balance the fact that you won't be making much money with your artwork, and so do less of it and make sure to actually get your work commitments in. It's possible. It's hard though. It really is. So if you were to do it, you certainly would not be the first, but it is tough.
All right. I didn't do it last week, so I'm going to do it this week. It's that time of the night to click like. I was like number 325. 427 people are watching now. So we've got to get at least 100 more likes. And if you have not already, make sure you subscribe. 251,000 people. Can't be wrong. Don't miss out on the amazing content. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe.
Which reminds me, next week is going to be we're going to do a giveaway for 250,000.
We didn't do it because we did the Neil tribute last week and then the George tribute this week.
That's right.
So next week is giveaway. Oh dear. Uh-oh. Just making sure where I'm at here. Okay. Because this all of a sudden got lost in the chat. Tegamo Model Works has another super chat for $5. The trick to video tutorials is don't announce you're doing one until it's done and ready to upload it.
Yeah, absolutely. The problem is I feel so guilty
because trying to make everybody happy because that's Dave.
And I have been finished with it for well over a week. So I think what's going to happen is I'm just going to upload it tomorrow as it is.
John D. Harvey has a super chat for $5. How do you draw metal textures or patinas? So weapons, blades versus wrought iron versus aged or weathered metal surfaces, etc. Thanks from your local blacksmith.
Hey, blacksmith. That's very cool. And in all that, I totally missed the question. So
patinas, drawing metal textures, aged metal versus wrought iron. How do you do it?
Okay.
You weren't even paying attention when I was reading the super chat.
No.
Is what's happening.
It happens. Look, what do you want?
Tuned me out. Don't be wife deaf.
Okay, so I'm going to draw just, a curved surface. So here's one. Let's draw another one. And one will be aged metal, and the other one will be wrought iron. And these won't be perfect, obviously, because, constraints of time. But so for the aged metal, what I want to do is I want to draw it like it's got rust on it. And the easiest way to do that, I'm just going to create a pattern like this. Just want something that has, a certain amount of randomness to it, but something like that. And now I'm lighting it from up here. And so I want to, this here is going to be higher than this here. So it's like imagine a paint surface that's over raw metal. And I know you didn't say anything about a paint surface, but this is the way that I know how to draw rust and make it really work. So yeah, look, it is what it is. This is how I do it. This is such a problem with my tutorials lately too, is I'm like, I don't want to just tell you how I do something. I want to try and tell you how to do it the right way. I don't know how to do it the right way. So it's a fight. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of break up my line a little bit. I'm going to go up to this point here. And I'm going to tell you the truth. This is very much what I would do for, I could do like an old dirty wall this way too. It's not even metal. And then I'm going to give it just a little dot kind of line. I would zoom in. Maybe I should not. You know what? I'll zoom in. Why not? It's already going out of focus. Let's just do it. So here's my little dot, and then I can just continue that. Now, this pen is too thick for this. Sometimes they can get really subtle, even though it's a thicker pen. So I'm just going to my, this is a 0.1 micron. And what I want to make sure is I don't want, here's another attempt here. I'm going to put some lines here, and then some more here. And it starts just looking really patchy and out of focus. But I want an overall grad from light to dark, but I want to keep it pretty airy and broken up and open. So here's like a dirty metal. This is basically the way I would do it. Maybe I could give it some rivets. I feel like it's cheating though. It makes it obvious what you're looking at when I do that. But this is how I would do it. Whether this is the way to do it, another question. So there you go. And now I'm going to do, this is going to be wrought iron. Wrought iron is darker and it's a little bit more specular. So I'm going to go dark here. This is an underside shape here. So let's just go dark. I'm going to go dark here. And when I say specular, what I mean is that's just a specular highlight. So if this is a light sphere, I'd have a bit of a shadow here, some rendering coming up out of it. And it will go all the way up to a highlight, like right there. But if I do something really dark, you would basically just see that highlight. So the whole thing would be dark, and you just see that highlight. So it's much darker. Anyway, so I'm going kind of a little bit closer to that by rounding out both sides dark. I'm going to bring this out just a little bit further here. And I'm kind of breaking it up. And so now what I want to do, it's wrought iron. I'm going to imagine that's pounded by a hammer. And so if I come out here and then come under here, and see how I'm creating a bit of a lip? So I'll do it here. Here's a shape here, and then another shape here, and it looks like I'm creating kind of an inside. This is my flat surface, and this is an indent. It looks like a crater. There you go, a crater. All right. So I'm going to just try my best to kind of create those as much as I can.
Dave.
Meredith.
I feel like you might be spending.
I'm having fun with this.
Okay, well, we need to move along.
Okay. We're enjoying this right now. And you know what? The picture is not going to take so long.
Did you answer Nick Soto's question about being too late for him when he's 40?
Yes.
You did? Okay. I had like a blank out moment.
Yeah, complain about me not listening to you.
I know. I had a blank out moment.
Okay, so there you go. I'll stop there just because Meredith's losing it a little bit, but that's more how I would draw wrought iron. And that would be kind of the difference. So there you go. And shiny metal is, here's my shape. Am I on the, tell me I'm on the screen, despite the fact that it keeps blurring in and out. I'm on the screen. All right. So for shiny, I'm just going to go really really fast with this and do something more like this. So that's more of a shiny surface. Okay.
JDSCT says, is it bad that I wait to hit the like button until Meredith Finch asks so I can be part of the big surge that always happens? It's not bad.
No, yeah, makes sense.
It's fun. It's fun. It's what makes it fun. Like an hour at 411 likes already. Almost 100 likes in 5 minutes. Johnny D has a super chat for $2. Rest in peace to the legendary George Perez.
Yes, thank you very much, Johnny.
Why did you not do her hair curly, just out of curiosity?
I can't draw curly hair like that effectively. Like George Perez does it beautifully. I don't, and so I went more wavy with it.
I also know that somebody else asked that question earlier on.
Yeah, I know it's a fair question. Okay, look, if this wasn't a live drawing, I'd probably be a little more confident to just do it. And if it doesn't work, then I would fix it. But I think I just kind of balked live because I have historically not been able to make that work well.
All right. Black Tiger 001 has a super chat for $5. I'm late, off work. In light of what the streams are honoring, when you lay down your pencil for the last time, what work do you want to be remembered for?
Gosh. I can't, you know what? I can't say because there's nothing that I don't have problems with. This is how it goes. You ask any artist, and you know. Okay, first of all, I haven't really created anything big, so I can't say this character that I created. I created, or well, co-created Maria Hill. She's the what's that? Nick Fury agency.
Shield.
She's and she's been in the movies and that kind of thing. But you know, I drew her in like 3 panels, maybe. So I created her in the sense that I drew her first. So there's Batman, but you know, there's Moon Knight. I love Moon Knight. I don't know. You know what? Here's my hope. I hope that I'm still young. I mean, I'm not young. I'm going to be 50. What day is today?
The 16th.
Yeah, soon. Very, very soon. I'm going to be 50. But I'm hoping that's still young for me and I have time. And so, you know, I hope that it's coming up. And ultimately, I feel like it's not really for me to say. You know, it's not for me to say if anybody associates me with a character. You know, that's something for readers and other artists and other people to decide. Like,
what if this is your legacy?
Yeah, you know, I'd be actually
all
very
your tutorials.
I'd be very happy with that. I really would be. And I feel like it's given me something I truly did not have before, you know, that I didn't expect. You know, beyond getting to know all of you guys and feeling like I've got a community, you know, with me, which is it's a big deal. Beyond that, just you know, the legacy of you know, some of you are watching that will make it into the business and you know make your own mark. To have had a part in that, however small, you know, I feel like I could maybe live on a little bit with that. And that's really why, like Meredith, just let you guys know. Every Monday, Meredith says this needs to be our last season because she gets tired. I'm tired, but then you know, what we get out of it is huge too. You have to admit, right, Meredith? Say yes.
Why would I say yes when you just threw me under the bus?
Oh, I say it too. We're always tired.
We are tired. I don't know why we're so tired.
Oh, I know I'm
Mm.
tired. I just don't sleep properly. I keep taking the time that I should be sleeping and being up and not really getting that much done. And
Everybody's gonna be like, "No, Meredith," but it's like you don't want to go to work, but you enjoy your job. Like,
yeah,
sometimes it's overcoming the inertia. That's
is.
the hardest part.
I'll tell you this. I really truly do not want um, any artist to pass away anytime soon again.
No.
I'd like a break from this. It's been a difficult period losing.
Two artists,
Yeah, legends
such
like that.
incredible artists, back to back.
There's a colorist actually that just passed away. You were telling me about too. He was somebody.
A colorist, yes, young, 34.
Yeah.
Diho Limo.
So yeah, obviously condolences to his family and too. And it seems like we're losing too many people right now.
Yeah. Yes, it was Diho. I probably did not pronounce his name correctly. Lima. 34. A cardiac event. It's pretty young.
Yeah. Yep. It sure is. Yeah, I think about it, and at 34, I was doing Moon Knight. That's a long time ago.
Oh, I just met you.
Yeah. At 34, our youngest was a couple years away from being born.
A couple months away? Yeah.
A couple years.
No, he was year 35. Oh, no, you were 36.
You were 35.
Russ Hicks says, we all thank you from the bottom of our hearts for doing this every week. David Finch and Meredith Finch.
Well, thank you very much, Ross Klein.
You're such a...
I'm sorry, Ross. Really, I couldn't help. I apologize.
You're the worst. I was going to see something nice about you. Rhythm Comics says Dave's legacy to me is his genuine humility while drawing so beautifully, and his really bad jokes.
Yeah,
I said the really bad. I added the really bad jokes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was going to say, well, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, you know what? We really appreciate everything that Russ is doing, and Eric, and and all of you guys that come week in and week out, and this is kind of.
No, I haven't called Eric, our moderator extraordinaire, in so long, but Eric and Russ both here every week, being awesome. Yeah. There for us when we need them.
Well, and this wouldn't be the community that it is if it weren't for you guys that are here all the time, like Henry and Lance DeBoyer,
One Mighty, Kenny Wang, Alphin, Ricky Ingles. He's not here this week, but I'm not going to keep going because I'll spend between now and and then I'll miss somebody because that's how it always. I know
that's how it goes, but you guys know who you are.
We love you.
Yes,
you know who you are. We know who you are too. So
and we absolutely value.
And we do know who you are.
If you're coming in, this is your first time. Look,
we
don't have some kind of you're new here, so we hate you.
Yeah, we love newbies too.
We do, but yeah, it's the community that makes this work. I must say, I knew I was going to do tutorials. I really didn't think that a live stream would work.
I wonder, by the way, if your camera gets worse as the night goes on because it gets overheated.
It must. Well, you know what? This is going to be the last time this camera will be up. I won't be using it again after this week. I said that last week.
You did. Promises.
I especially promise.
Yeah. Anthony G is a super chat for $9.99. Dave, you will likely be the inspiration for several of the next generation's comic artists because of what you've been doing here. Only a handful of artists every generation can say that.
Yeah.
Thank you for the super chat, Anthony.
Yeah, really. Thank you. Yeah, that's, I mean,
it is a place where people go to learn is the internet now. Kids are much less likely to pick up the how to draw comics the Marvel way and much more likely to.
oh, that could change soon. How to draw comics the Marvel way is you know,
You know what I'm saying?
it's timeless. And
So would you stop arguing with me when I'm just saying that kids these days are more likely to learn off a video than off of a book? Why do you have to argue with me?
Yeah, okay, they are more willing to learn off the internet
Go
than a
look
book.
at your own child.
Yeah. Oh, geez, look at myself.
Yeah.
This is how I do it too.
Yeah. So
I'm fixing my golf swing. I'm showing Meredith yesterday. So I've got a golf charity tournament coming up next month, and I slice to the right so badly you can barely call it a slice. I just shoot it to the right, to the left. I'm sorry, I'm left-handed, so it goes out to the left, and so I'm trying to figure out how to fix it, and I feel like I've got the answer. The problem is I have not had time to actually go try it. So it's one thing to, and I complain sometimes. I will say this. I complain that, you can watch the videos, you can learn, but you need to try it. Otherwise you'll get nothing out of it in the end. Hopefully it's entertaining to watch, but you won't get anything. Well, I've watched so many golf videos now and I have not actually shot one shot this year at all. So yeah. Chances are I'll be going to that charity tournament without ever having gotten out there.
all right. Brad Scottart has a super chat for $20. Dave, your legacy to me is your art got me back into drawing seriously. In my late 40s, I started back taking art classes. Now at 53, I'm publishing my comics independently with a few friends and building my tribe. And Miss Meredith rocks. That's awesome.
Yeah, how great is that? That's actual, that's work out there that's in the world that, I certainly can't claim and say, oh, this is mine, but I can say that, I helped, right? I don't want to, it's all me, but I helped, right? And it's a big deal to me. It really, really is. So yeah, um, I don't think I could have a better legacy than that.
100%. And here I'm going to read this one comment too. Chuck Tyler said, before catching these streams, I never heard of David Finch. But I'm so grateful. Your work has influenced my work and my artistic path since. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
So cool.
And that's, it's a different audience. There's certainly people that I was able to reach with comics, but like Isaac, he'd never run into anyone that's not on the internet. And I really didn't do any social media. Like I've got Instagram, but it's not a huge account because first of all, I post every 3 weeks or so, but I didn't ever post on it before, shortly before YouTube. I just didn't do social media, and you need to nowadays. You really do. So yeah, it's been very, very good for me. Meredith, I don't know. You don't care.
Just out riding my horses.
Yeah, you're just outside riding horses.
Johnny D is a super chat for $2. I agree with Dave. The Marvel way is timeless. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That's not, people don't look at books the same way anymore.
Well, look, I'll put it this way. You wanted to give you an idea of how timeless the Marvel way is, how to draw comics the Marvel way. Tell me if any of you guys disagree when I say that I could get more views on a video talking about the techniques and how to draw the Marvel way and breaking them down and kind of going over that than I could get on anything else. Like I know that would be the biggest videos that I did. I could be wrong. I don't think so.
Then maybe you need to do one.
I'm not doing it.
Why not?
Because I'm not piggybacking on somebody else's work. Like
fair
that.
enough.
Like
see, you're such a good person. That's why I married you.
Okay.
Paul Essenson has a super chat for $7.99. Hi, Dave. With pencil subs, how clean do they expect them? Do they want to see pages that only take a day, or what you can do when you take your time?
They want to see pages that look like pages that you spent a month on. And then what you want to do is lie to them and said it took you a day. Now, the risk is And I've seen this happen where somebody will get work and people are very excited, and then the actual pages come in and they just do not compare. And that certainly does happen, especially with the new artist. You can tailor samples in a way that you can't tailor when you get a script. You have to draw specific things, and it can very quickly reveal weaknesses in your work. Uh, you know, so, but step one is getting in, right? I'll tell you, right? I lied. I said pages that I truly took almost a month on each. I said I did them in a day, and yeah,
You lied?
yeah, I lied, and I didn't get hired by Marvel or DC or somebody that wanted me to be really competent right away. I got hired by Top Cow, who's willing to teach me. So it was a big advantage. I got away with lying. So sometimes I really should maybe think about whether that's really awful advice to give, because I was able to get in and not really have the skills that I needed and then learn them. Had I just broken in, would I have been able to survive? I'm going to tell you right now, I do think I could have. Because, man, I might be a moron sometimes, but I'm not much of a quitter.
All right. Next super chat comes from Samuel Reyes for $10. We're here for How to Draw Comics the David Finch way.
See?
On that note, any tips for drawing huge necks and upper bodies on characters like the Hulk? I make them look bulky, but they feel balloony.
Okay, let me think about that.
And Edwin Wallace, he does not have time to play golf. He doesn't. He has no
No.
time to play golf.
No, not at all.
He just likes in his mind think that he's a golfer.
Hey, look, if you have golf clubs, you're a golfer. That's the rule. You don't even need to play. If you have the clubs.
All right, show us how to draw the not balloony necks.
Okay. Okay. I'm almost done. I'm getting there. So I'm going to draw, here's my figure. I'm going to kind of bend him over, and I want the head to be over here. Here's my nose. I won't spend much time on the head. Erg. So it's the Hulk. Here's his hair. Okay, so let me clean this up just enough that I have what I'm kind of working with. And then I've got my chest area, like my chest shape here. Here's where my arm's going to come out. So let's put the arm there. And my other arm is going to come out here, and my neck is here. Now, I have done this enough that I know that I want my head, based on the angle, I wanted my head here and not right on top of the neck. So, and this is the problem. And I know that I've kind of explained this before, but just to be aware. Now, if I draw a body directly from face on, and here's the neck, and I put my head here, it's going to work because my head is over the neck. But if I draw a figure at a 45-degree angle, here's my neck is going to come out like this, like a tube, like this. And so my head needs to attach to that tube. And so it projects it out. And that's a really common problem that I see, people drawing a body at that angle and then the head, and this is what it ends up looking like. Here's the body. And I'm going to draw the head on that body. And does it look terrible? No. And I'm sure you've seen figures that are kind of like that. But what it does do is just kind of paste that head directly on top of the body. So let's just fix that. It's bugging me. So here's my neck coming out at that angle, and my head attaches to the neck. And there we go. Much more correct. So Now what I've got here is a huge neck. You can see already, obviously a much bigger neck. So let's just draw my neck. And so there it is. And that looks ridiculous right now. I know, but bear with me. And also, I would never draw it this way normally. But so here, I'm going to give him a bit of a jowl. I'm going to give him his Adam's apple from the base of the ear to your clavicle. This, you can't see it on me right here, but you know, that little U shape right here. That's where this big muscle connects. And then you've got one connecting from the other side. And you can see it's already looking better, right? It's looking blurry because the thing keeps blurring. And then I've got my, it's a big shoulder muscle, back muscle. It's got a name.
Eric says the out of focus only happens when you're zoomed in more. It was fine earlier.
Okay, well, let me just zoom back out then. If that's the case. Why did Eric wait so long to tell me? Okay. So now, because I've got this muscle sitting high, I'm going to erase behind it here. And I can see some of the back here too. I'm going to draw some of that muscle here. I've got some tendons coming out here. Here's a tendon. This one splits at the bottom. I've got a vein coming out here. I'm going to draw another tendon here and maybe another one here. And you can see, if you do this with your own neck, you can see I've got it a little bit there. Meredith, you should see her do it. She's out there working so much that she's like a whip right now. So there's my basic kind of neck drawn in. Let me fix this so it doesn't look too odd.
What's a whip?
I don't know, super thin and like, you know.
Maybe more ice cream.
Yeah. So yeah. You know what I need to do? I need to go in and study my neck anatomy again, because I'm kind of, this whole area here I'm forgetting. Yeah. And this happens to me all the time. Like all the time, I will forget fundamental parts of my anatomy. And I mean, I could lie to you. The truth is, I forget how exactly that connects. That's the truth. Sucks. But it's amazing how much I can kind of fake things with lighting at this point. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm forgetting. So there you go. There's a big neck attached. I'm just making it much more pronounced. I'm bringing the back up and forgetting my anatomy.
Thank you. All right. Navy Sharks.
Caden Lane, sorry, I just want to say this quickly. Says there's so many back and neck muscles, but learning the sternocleidomastoid and trapezius. I think that was a trapezius is that muscle. Goes a long way. And thank you for that. And you're right. And you know, I should know it better.
Right. Navy Shark says a super chat for $20. Hi, Meredith. Hi, Dave. Hello, Finch Flock family. Dave, what comic book character would you like to hang out with if they were real?
Wolverine.
Really?
Yes.
Why Wolverine?
Who would pick anybody different?
Deadpool?
He's too crazy. You would definitely end up getting killed. I mean, Wolverine, I don't know if I'd like your chances either, but you'd last longer than.
It seems like he might shake your hand and then all of a sudden, you know, adamantium.
Yeah. All of a sudden, adamantium.
Yeah. That's right, right?
It is right, yeah.
See, look at me. Me with my comic book knowledge. Johnny Diaz a super chat for $5. Hey, Dave and Meredith. Which DC comic characters do you think you would be if you could? Wonder Woman.
Lex Luthor.
I'd be Wonder Woman, but without the responsibility.
See, this is the thing.
I don't want
we
the
want great power with no great responsibility.
I do. I want great power.
That's part of the reason why I pick Lex Luthor. See, if you're a villain, really, if you're not killing somebody in that moment, you're in the good books. So.
Yeah, but I can't be a villain.
No.
No.
I could be a villain.
I mean, I polish my halo every day. Just kidding. Mean. That's Meredith. Mean. She's a mean girl.
You know what?
What?
You're very nice. You're a loving mother, and you also can be an awfully difficult person to deal with at times.
Truth. It's a pendulum that swings both ways.
You guys never see, and you've really, believe me, you've never seen the angry, like freaking out Meredith. You always see sometimes you'll see like tired and just, kind of wiped out, but you never see her really freak out. I think you guys have seen me freak out more than Meredith, and she's so much worse than I am. That's how it goes, though, right? It's like the people that can tell you they can fight, or that tell you they can fight can never fight. You're that way with getting angry. You don't need to show it off. It's just there.
It's just a weapon that I have in my disposal. People cower. No, that's not something to be bragging about.
No.
Thanks, I wish I could be better at. Keep praying for patience. Keep finding moments to practice it.
And then you think, next time.
And then you just don't think. Anger is always a reaction, not a thinking.
Yeah.
What are we looking at for that one, Dave?
We're looking at about another 5 minutes. That's about where we are. It's going to be fairly quick. I'm going in with my thin liner right now and just kind of getting the finish.
Thin lining it?
Thin lining it.
You're going in with your thin liner to thin line it?
Yeah.
Perfect. I don't know if the focus is better. Did you zoom in or you're out?
I zoomed all the way back out. You know what?
Seems better.
I need to just get it fixed. And you guys had to know that it was going to be the same this week. The problem is I never want to give up doing this. I really do value it. And I really am always so behind on everything else.
Just ordered on Amazon to be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just got to decide what you want.
Yes. I need to talk to Eric. I said this is like deja vu. It's exactly what I said last Monday. I need to talk to Eric. And you know what? I just did. Like we talked just before the stream. I didn't bring it up. Hey, I'm the talent here. I can afford to go quiet.
I'm just reading some of the comments. RJ Moda Jr. says we get a master class of art plus a master class in marriage. Supersonico, if I could hang out with a superhero, that'd be Professor X, so he can help me figure out my mind.
Oh man, you would take one look and that would be it. You'd run.
Yeah.
I would not be comfortable with mind reading people. You know that they know. Whatever it is. Yeah, I'm going with Lex Luthor.
Are you?
Yep. I don't know that it would be much of a villain, but I would definitely be spending time on the yacht. All right. That is it.
You're done?
Yep.
Hold on, let me scroll down, make sure there's no last minutes. Perfect. Well, that was faster than 5 minutes.
Yeah, I was further along than I thought. It's a bit of an early night.
Not really. It's 9:49.
By 10 minutes. All right. There it is. Going in and out of focus. It's great.
George Perez, Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Love it.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Hopefully, I'll see you guys on Thursday at 9:00 Eastern for Color with Kurt, who's going to be coloring the Moon Knight picture that we had Jimmy Reyes color. Ink. Thank you. Just about a week and a half ago, which was great. He did such an incredible job with it. And so it's going to be very exciting to see what Kurt can do with it. Be sure, by the way, to check out his YouTube channel. I really should have put a link in because we were talking about it. I knew I was going to be talking about it tonight, but he's got an incredible YouTube channel. He's a lot of fun to watch just work, but also he has some really, really great tutorials and information on there. If you are coloring or just working with Photoshop, and frankly, we all are. I don't care what job you're doing in this business. You really kind of need to learn Photoshop. So I think that all of you could get something out of Kurt's channel. So I really recommend you take a look and be sure to join us on Thursday. It's going to be a lot of fun. And
be safe.
Be safe. I want to say
And
something
God
about
bless.
George Perez. I'm not sure how to.
What?
I want to say something about George Perez before we go, and I'm not
Oh.
sure how to jump into that. But
Just jump in and say it.
Yeah, we're all, I think, going to miss George an incredible amount. It's a very big blow with both George and with Neil Adams, and with both of them, I'm very grateful that we have their whole artistic, legacy still to enjoy. So, and I think we will be for generations to come. So, Meredith, you want to say something?
Just that conventions are not going to be the same this year.
Yeah, no. Well, you know what? They haven't been for a couple of years, but we kind of missed that because of the pandemic. So,
well, we're lucky to have known them and to have had their influence, and so thank you to everybody for being here tonight and supporting the stream.
Yes, this is my favorite Wonder Woman that I've done.
Yeah.
I know it's me patting myself on the back, but I don't care. I really like it, and it's just George. Oh, by the way, I should really write before
after George.
Yes. You could be speaking.
You could, but I have nothing to say.
I don't have the best handwriting in the whole world, but I find it looks better
I like
if
your
I
handwriting.
double it up at least a little bit.
I like your handwriting.
Oh.
It'll be 9:00 or 9.
Yeah, 9 Eastern.
Yeah. How long does it take to write after George Perez?
Make it look nice. It's not
You're just trying to take us to 10
No,
o'clock.
I'm really not. I just want to make it look nice. All right. Yeah. Thanks again, everyone. Hopefully we'll see you guys next week. And hopefully that will be with a new camera. And regardless.
And a giveaway.
Yeah. It's going to be a giveaway. We'll do
250K giveaway.
Yes. And Color with Kurt. Fortunately, I won't be using this camera because it'll be Kurt doing all the heavy lifting on that one. So it won't be a problem.
All right.
Have
a great night, everyone, and enjoy your week, and we will see you next.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Monday night, Dave and Meredith.